Welcome back to Character Select. Dave, Scow, V, back for more control. We are back in Central Exec. We have successfully saved the Foundation. But other shit's
and
afoot.
now we're going to go save my boy, my bro, my favorite author.
Oh,
My son! Wake.
To make her act. It was a distress call. Faden sensed a drowning man. A hunger in the dark.
Oh, we're gonna get into one of those fucking things, aren't we?
He just wrote us into a story. Shit.
Yeah.
We should check this out.
Neat.
Wrong button.
Question now is, did we exist before
yeah.
wrote before he wrote about us?
Darkness engulfed the elevator.
I love that they got Matthew Peretta back.
A presence. Jesse Faden could hear it. A call. It was faint, reaching for her from a dark place. Faden was sensitive to visitations. She had them all the time. From her guiding star and the previous director. She was the perfect receiver. As if she'd been made for this.
Oh my god!
The force at play here. It was changing things.
Fuck you, Wade.
Turning the guide.
Basically, oh man.
Her guide felt it too. Polaris didn't flare up in defense as with the hiss. So it wasn't all bad. Not a hostile transmission. It was powerful, but it was coming from far away. And made weak because of the distance. It was a distress call. Faden sensed a drowning man. A man desperate to escape. She sensed something else too. A hunger in the dark. Not unlike the hostile resonance. Waiting. She knew that desperate acts can have grim consequences. It was this, more than the man's despair, that made her follow the call. The elevator lights winked back on. The darkness receded like a memory. There was a new button on the elevator control panel. Investigation sector. Faden pressed the button. The elevator doors slid shut with practiced bravado.
Oh my god.
That the elevator doors slid shut with practice bravado is a reference to a line from Max Payne.
I was gonna say, yeah, that is their pros in a fucking nutshell.
The specific line is, I walked in with practice bravado like I'd done 1,000,000 times before. Or like I'd done it 1,000 times before. I've played a lot of Max Payne. I love that game. And
Yeah,
he just created an entirely new sector.
Yep.
That's abuse of power right there.
What?
Ooh, it's dark. Oh, it's still opening.
It's dark and spooky.
Oh, Jesus.
Come on, Dave.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting...
It's not Halloween anymore. He even told you that the lights would flick back on.
Anyone here? Guess not.
Wake?
What?
Wait, there's something on the floor.
There's a bunch of stuff in here. Oh, boy. Come on.
Seems a lot more crowded than the rest of the bureau.
It kind of does. Per authorization from Mr. Kirkland, Internal Investigation D-084-5 was launched into ethical practices of Dr. Casper Darling, head of research. Despite the accounts of anonymous blank regarding inhumane treatment of a blank currently housed in the Bureau, our official findings regarding this were inconclusive. Numerous obstacles arose during this investigation. The majority of blank sector personnel seemed to be wholly unaware of any such blank contained there. One blank confirmed the blank's codename to be blank, but all files pertaining to that name were inaccessible, being classified under the highest clearance level. Investigators were similarly blocked from entering the blank research wing to interview its staff. The matter was further complicated by the lack of clarity on whether non-human paranatural entities warrant humane treatment. While this investigation cannot address any charges against Dr. Darling, we do recommend an investigation into blank research. Okay, investigations is like internal affairs.
Seems like it. And that now exists.
Mr. Dennis, a request came through recently from an FBI agent asking for all of our files on Bright Falls, specifically on the disappearance of the author Alan Wake. Per the Interagency Information Exchange Agreement, I had some paper pushers gather up a folder of all the pre-approved files. Don't worry, all the inappropriate material is either missing or redacted. But I'm writing to let you know we received this request from a special agent named Alex Casey. Sounds familiar, right? That's because Alex Casey is the name of the fictional detective in those hard-boiled crime books Alan Wake wrote. Pretty interesting that an FBI agent sharing a name with the most famous character Wake wrote is looking into a case dealing with a writer's fiction coming true. I think this is worth looking into, but what's your opinion? Just give the word and I'll start surveillance on this guy.
Oh my god, Casey's real now.
Casey exists.
Oh my god, there's so many files. Here the latest agents confirm missing presumed dead from containment breach yesterday. Connor, Cruz, Dempsey, Malcolm, Murray, Shaw. Letters of condolences will be delivered to you to sign prior to sending them to their families. You'll be updated as soon as additional confirmations are made. Also, per your request, a network engineer checked how many cases were backed up digitally. Unfortunately, a large number of active investigations were not archived yet. The only hard copies of records exist behind the firebreak. They're lost, I'm afraid. We're going in blind on this one. Why is this game so dark all of a sudden?
I'm going to be opening up lore to see if there are, the usual hidden bits of correspondence or information, real references.
Right. This communication led to a local coroner examining the body of William Burrow, male Caucasian. 33-year-old man found dead in his property per police report. Records obtained for coroner's office also include blood, urine, bile, stomach contents, and bone fragments. Autopsy findings: blunt force injuries head, lacerations left ear cheek, blunt force injuries extremities, dislocation right knee, complete avulsion of the upper right extremity with associated fracture of the proxial right humerus. They twisted his arm off. Extensive trauma, abdominal region, complete avulsion of multiple organs, including stomach, heart, liver, pancreas, kidneys, and portions of the large and small intestine, all missing from the scene. It's my opinion that Mr. Burrow's death is not the result of a mechanical accident, as claimed by authorities. The removal of organs is consistent with animal attack. Was Burroughs a guy from Bright Falls?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I think so. I don't know.
To whom it may concern, it is with great anger and regret that I tender my resignation as head of investigations for the Federal Bureau of Control. I do this in protest of the rampant disregard for my department's blank. My staff cannot continue to work in these conditions. Previous requests and warnings have fallen on deaf ears, so I must now rely on my actions to speak louder than my words ever could. I blame this situation on our blank, who has routinely ignored my request for assistance in reclaiming the parts of the investigation sector lost to the blank loose inside. I will never forget the screams of brave agents begging for us to open that firebreak. I will carry that shame for the rest of my days. The blank has failed as agent, so I shall never forgive him for that. Sincerely, William Kirkland.
The director.
The director or Darling. Mr. Dennis, so yes, there's an increase in AWE cases, and yes, it would be a good idea to put together a special task force to examine exactly why that is. However, it seems that a tiny detail has slipped through the cracks. We don't have the damn staff. If you expect us to detect, investigate, and process more AWE cases, you need to give us more people. It's simple math. Between the staff we lost in the Hartman thing, and the ones who left for other departments after Kirkland quit, we're barely managing to keep up with the workload. Hell, just filing the paperwork for all the altered items we left behind in the sector has been an ordeal. Another thing, and this is going to sound paradoxical, but we have an overcrowding situation. This lobby isn't meant to accommodate a whole sector's worth of staff. We put forward a motion to move investigations to a more suitable location months ago. It's better not still be sitting on your desk. People are getting restless, and as Kirkland's interim replacement, it's your job to handle it. Best regards, Grayson. So, for anybody that doesn't remember, and for Scow, Hartman was an asshole in Alan Wake that tried to convince Alan that he was hallucinating all of it.
I see. I mean, to be fair, that's not really an arsehole thing to do. That is a thing to do when someone is telling you insane things.
No,
you would definitely want to say that.
He knew the truth
knew that it was
and
fake.
Specifically tried to get him to think it was fake so that he could control him.
Ah, okay.
Chief Investigator Dennis. Dennis? Whatever. It happened again.
Dennis.
Third time this year. Something certainly has it out for our blank. Could be raccoons. The locals certainly complain about them enough. But why the hell would raccoons keep going after a monitoring station? Doesn't add up. Anyway, I've got a Bureau tech going to the site next week to take a look. Next on the list of recurring problems is the staff at the Lake House Research Station. How am I supposed to effectively keep an eye on Blank Lake if they won't let me see any data? Hell, I don't even know what they're researching out there. We need to petition them again to share their info with investigations agents. It's only a matter of time time before this blank hits again. Shit hits again, and I want to be prepared. Anyway, if anyone at HQ asks why the Bright Falls report is a little thin this month, tell them it's because we couldn't take any readings. In the meantime, we might invest in some raccoon traps.
Cauldron Lake. What's the relevance for Cauldron Lake?
Cauldron Lake is where the Dark Presence is. It's currently what's holding Alan, as far as we know.
Yeah. It's the whole villain against Alan.
Yeah. So the Cauldron Lake holds the Dark Presence, supposedly, and Alan and his wife Alice went to a cabin on the lake and then got dragged into it, and Alan got out by writing himself out of it. He had to go back in to save Alice.
Yeah.
Per authorization from Mr. Kirkland, Blank was launched into the Blank of Director Zachariah Trench. A recent change in Blank witnessed in Director Trench, including aggressive Blank when Blank with other staff has been observed. However, this investigation is aimed at interpreting this issue rather than proving it. Notable Blank between Director Trench and Dr. Darling has been witnessed by numerous Bureau staff. Although both declined to meet for an interview on the matter, witness accounts suggest their arguments center around the Dimensional Research Wing and the Blank kept inside. However, no evidence exists to confirm Director Trench's Blank as anything more than interpersonal disagreements. This investigation has concluded that Director Trench's behavior is not indicative of any Blank and that his fitness to lead is not in question. If only
Interesting. And also, I guess it's pointed that there is Kirkland is head of investigation, so he was in charge of this whole totally abandoned wing that doesn't exist anymore.
Kirkland, I am growing tired of your blatant attempts to lay your incompetence on my doorstep. I know you want this to be true, but you are head of investigations. This failure is your responsibility. What did you think would happen holding a dangerous specimen in investigations? The containment sector exists for a reason. They are better trained and better equipped for this type of work. In fact, they have admirably taken on certain AWE monitoring responsibilities that your staff are no longer capable of. This happens more and more now. And don't think your petty internal investigations have gone past my notice. You are a worm. Everything I've done has been for the benefit of the Bureau. The Prime Candidate program only failed because of
what was that? That was a reference to this. I've destroyed this worm beneath my boot, or whatever the fuck that saying was.
The Prime Candidate program only failed because of Darling. You are both failures plotting against me. You are traitors, but the truth will emerge out of you. You are choosing to become my enemy, Kirkland. You don't want to be. Well, Trench lost his shit, apparently. But we knew that because he got hiss infected. Dr. Raya Underhill is a professor at the University of Woodrow, and God, there's so much fucking files here, in the United Kingdom, where she teaches biology with a focus on botany. Dr. Underhill once worked with the Bureau as a parabotanist stationed in the research sector of the oldest house. She served with no incidents or demerits and is praised by those who formerly worked with her, including Dr. Darling. Dr. Underhill has no known connections to paracriminal organizations or any record of breaching her NDA since leaving the Bureau. Her civilian behavior has been ideal, with the exception of an ongoing personal relationship with Dr. Darling that appears to have begun during their time as co-workers in the research sector and revisited intermittently ever since. Depending on the duration of her work in the oldest house, it may be required to have both parties sign a relationship clearance form. This investigation has found no compelling reason to deny Dr. Darling's request to offer Dr. Underhill an interim position with the aim of finding a solution to the mold threshold issue. Oh, Darling and Underhill are fucking.
Yep.
Well, not anymore,
Nice.
considering
I mean, did you see Darling's fucking moves? Who doesn't get soggy down low at that?
It's true. Oh boy, soggy down low. We have hit a new down low for this one, people. Is that everything? I could go up here and look. Oh Jesus, didn't mean to go quite that high.
Yeah, there's more. But wait, there's more.
I'm gonna lose my voice in the first frickin' episode of this shit. Per authorization from Mr. Kirkland, internal investigation P142-9 was launched into the legality of the Prime Candidate program blank by the Federal Bureau of Control. Since all known subjects relevant to the investigation use executive privilege to decline interviews, very little first-hand information was gathered. However, anonymous sources and documentation declassified by Mr. Kirkland both paint an alarmingly clear picture of systematic blank and blank blank and blank. Blank were brought into the oldest house and placed under blank examination and testing with the aim of appointing one as director upon maturity. This program has produced no successful cases and only resulted in the traumatic blank of paranaturally inclined blank. Not only is this in breach of the Ash Act, it flies in the face of basic human decency. This investigation team unequivocally blanked the Prime Candidate program and recommends that it be blank immediately. That redacting seemed kind of random, actually.
Right? Why redact decency?
A Frank Elk tractor, olive green, dried blood in the grill when last seen. Item is capable of vocalized responses, or growls, and unmanned locomotion. Considered highly aggressive and dangerous. Acquisition date 4/21/19 is seen, not acquired. That's frightening. The item first came to the Bureau's attention after the death of William Burrow, owner of Burrow Farm outside of Trenton, Texas. Local authorities arrived on scene after an employee found the mutilated body of Mr. Burrow beneath his tractor. Police arrived, but were immediately driven away by the tractor. Sorry, go ahead.
No, just mutilated beneath the tractor.
Panic calls to federal authorities. Go ahead.
For a second there, I thought this was going to be another Alan Wake reference because there was the animated tractors in that game.
But no, this tractor is a bear.
It responded by growling like a bear. 3 agents were injured when they tried to detain the item, which escaped. Aerial searches for the item are ongoing. Speaking of Mrs. Burrows, only revealed that she had a domestic altercation with Mr. Burrow earlier the night of the incident. Whether these events are connected is currently unknown. The fuck is going on with the tractor?
The tractor is a bear. You don't fuck around with bear tractor. Also, is there a power box for that thing?
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
More shinies.
So much talking.
I did notice that the lists that are labeled AWE DLC, they are nearly as verbose as the entire main game.
God. Mr. Kirkland, we stopped at Keystone on our way to the target AWE like you asked. I'm sending my report directly to you to try and keep a lid on this Groom and Morales desertion issue. We didn't find any sign of them here. Given the records, it's possible they switched teams like you suspected, but I don't think that's the case. An event definitely occurred here in Keystone, and I think Grumman and Morales got caught up in it. The entire population has vanished into thin air. Reminds me of the Ordinary case, but that was just the adults if I'm remembering the file correctly. This is different. I think our guys were casualties, not traitors. If it was an AWE, it seems to be over. We walked through the whole town, and the only strange thing we noticed were markings on various buildings. 2 overlapping circles with a dot in the shared space. Could be unrelated. I'll show you the pictures when I get back. In the meantime, you should send a team out here to cordon this place off and maybe get the comms guys working on a cover story.
Brutal.
It's probably not good.
Out
of my way. Thank you.
It's also deeply unsettling when someone goes, yeah, you know, I don't think these dudes deserted, I think they're dead. You're like, oh.
Which would be worse?
I mean, technically good news, bad news, but that's one of those things where it's the Blessed Group. I would be like, I bet the Blessed Group might have some old members of Kirkland's team that left when he quit.
Could be.
Or Kirkland himself, maybe, like some super crazy shit.
Another one.
I hope you brought a tall glass of water.
I have beer. The purpose of internal investigation X0397 is to examine the containment failure of specimen SI1 that resulted in the deaths of blank agents. Inspection report of the containment equipment 3 days earlier showed no faults. Investigators suspect human error to be the cause, yet no department has provided any evidence to support this. Technicians were able to recover the researcher's note on the specimens from the internal network. On the blank of blank, the specimen began displaying a sharp increase in aggressive blank. Cross-referencing that date with various logs found only 2 events inconsistent with the sector's daily routine. The air filters were changed, and an hour prior to the incident, a civilian named Alice Blank Alice Wake entered the sector regarding an unrelated investigation. Given their connection to the same AWE case, it's likely that Mrs. Wake's presence is relevant to the specimen's escape and to the blank. Investigation is ongoing.
Interesting. So she turned up and some freaky shit woke up. Oh, hi, ass. Gotta open up.
Oh, hey. Something that we didn't get to do in the Foundation.
Control points. Woo!
No, not the control point. Well, there's a door here.
I'm no detective, but something definitely happened here.
This individual slash group has operated outside the Bureau's notice for decades, perhaps longer, displaying a level of skill and caution rarely seen in paracriminal groups. A review of past cases has found various mentions of their activity over the years. In 2016, a production company called Blessed Pictures was connected to an alternate item case, as well as the death of an agent from exposure to illicit paranatural materials. In 1994, a Los Angeles-based public speaker named Chester Bless was involved in the illegal use of an altered item. In 1988, a business called Blessed Repair and Service was suspected of involvement with an object of power case, perhaps even creating it. None of these businesses or individuals have ever been located. However, their connection to appearances of altered items and objects of power is too direct to be considered circumstantial. An arrest order has been issued for any persons believed to be involved with the Blessed organization.
Yeah. Oh wait, how recently was it then that that guy got turned to ash?
2016.
Pretty fucking recent as far as the game's timeline's concerned.
You know what I want to do? Check
Do we know
in.
each other?
What?
This feels familiar. I can't seem to.
That's a new one.
I've forgotten it. I'm sorry. My name is Alan Wake.
Okay. Oh my god.
Who are you? Who are you? Do I know you?
I'm your friend Tom. Tom Zane.
Oh no.
There's nothing to worry about.
Tom. The poet. The diver. You look different.
That was just a role. A character. The protagonist I played in my old film. I'm a filmmaker. An auteur like yourself.
Zane was never a filmmaker.
No.
Working on this together, remember? An artistic collaboration.
No. He was just a poet.
You need a drink.
You know what it makes me think of, V?
Night Springs.
Scratch.
Yeah.
Gippus.
Scratch again.
Kippus?
That's... I think this is...
Darkness. Nothing holds still.
But we're very close now. You've been writing. You found a way to escape. It'll work this time.
Riding.
You found a way!
No. I don't. Wait. There's something. It's my dog. He's out there.
Scratch.
I've seen it.
Yeah. Nothing to worry about.
Scratch is still around. Ah!
Fine, my friend. Let me handle him.
You've met him? What the hell?
Now, come on. You misunderstand me.
Shit.
Imagine being Scow in this case. Not knowing what the fuck is going on.
I mean, all I know is that Kippus is Finnish.
Writer who went missing in that AW
That's just
piece I
cheers.
read about.
It's like saying skull.
What's he doing here?
So, just to catch up, Scow, and anybody who didn't watch our...
Zane was with him. The poet. No, wait. He was a filmmaker. I always remember that wrong.
So just to catch everybody up. At the end of Alan Wake, Alan gets stuck in the dark place, where the dark presence can make what you create become true. And Alan was the first person that actually got caught there that was a writer of fiction. So he wrote a way for him to contain the dark presence by getting trapped in there with it. Then the DLC came along, and Alan's original plan was to get trapped by the dark presence and do nothing. But it turns out he can't because he went crazy without having a creative output. So while he's in the dark presence, he has to write, and he's successfully written himself out of the dark place an infinite amount of times, only to end up trapped back in there. He's never actually escaped.
Huh.
Alan Wake's American Nightmare is one scenario where he actually managed to escape, but it wasn't real. It didn't happen. It was all a mind game from the Dark Presence. So, now he's here, and I don't know what the fuck that means.
He's in the Ocean View Motel.
What?
That was different.
Ooh, snack!
Oh.
Aw, I wanted snack.
Yeah, the final level in Alan Wake
Next room over, I think.
Yeah, the final level in Alan Wake is actually really cool because you interact with words that then turn into actual things. Because you're stuck in the dark place and Alan is in control.
You also might have to put a spoiler warning for Alan Wake.
Oh yeah, go watch our previous
this.
series.
Yeah, we'll have to do that at the very start. We'll have to go back and put that in so they just like completely screw themselves out.
Yeah. Alright, something happened.
Dr. Emil Hartman,
What?
devoured by a hungry darkness, became the thing that had been Hartman.
Huh.
Worse,
Oh, that's right.
that everyone it could. Lurking, roaming, waiting. Then something else came. A resonance. The thing that had been Hartman went through another change.
Because Hartman was in the final part of Alan Wake. That was actually pretty.
He wrote Hartman into becoming Hiss controlled.
No, Hartman into becoming Dark Presence controlled. That was really coherent though for a hotline message.
Dr. Emil Hartman was desperate.
That's because it's apparently a condensed a minute and a half.
Life's work. This was his last chance, his final experiment. What he'd been too scared to do before. Hartman dove into the lake, was taken, devoured by hungry darkness, became the thing that had been Hartman. Only an echo of him remained, fragmented impulses on autoplay, violent, bloodthirsty darkness in the driver's seat. Emerging from the lake, the thing was captured by the FBC.
Oh.
Brought in,
Ooh.
contained,
Ooh.
the thing broke loose.
Not Hartman again.
The FBC fell back and sealed the sector. The thing was alone in the dark, lurking, roaming, waiting.
So Hartman is somewhere down here with us.
Not darkness, but similar enough. A sound.
This is gonna be spooky.
Resonance. It shouldn't be a surprise. If there's one, why not another?
Thanks, asshole.
Inside the thing could have been immune, could have resisted, fought, could have been passed by, passed through with no effect. But it didn't, and it wasn't. Maybe it had grown weaker over time, not aged. It was timeless, but weaker with no link to its source. A metamorphosis followed. The thing that had been Hartman.
There you go, yeah, he's totally describing it becoming Hiss transformed.
Yeah. Creepy.
Don't like that.
Can we open the door now? Oh, wait.
Ah, that's the circles with the dot.
Oh.
That disappeared the people.
That looks like a fire break. Sure is.
Oh boy.
Alright. Next time on Character Select. Welcome to Investigations.
Ooh, boy.
Holy
this is a big
crap.
zone.
Yeah. So
You know, this, as I said as well, like, they did not skimp. There are so many collectibles in here marked AWEDRC.
Oh no.
great.
We're gonna have to find them all.
I'm gonna need more
Lottery.
beer. So thank you very much
I
for
wanna
watching.
be the
Make sure to click that
very
like button down
best.
below if you liked it. And, oh boy, this is gonna be a big one. And I'm so ready.
never was!